so today we're going to the Depot Museum. Now, the depot is where you would go to catch a train. You'd go and wait for the train to come. Or you would, 100 years ago, if you needed lumber, you didn't go to the lumber mill. You ordered that lumber to be delivered by the train. There was no nearby lumber mill, but if you needed lumber that was cut out of the redwood forest, you'd place an order to the lumber mill in Oregon. They'd cut redwood for you, and they'd put it on a train car, and they'd ship it to you. And when it arrived, they'd pull that train car off the train and leave it in Broomfield. And guess what? Then the train master, the depot chief, would come and let you know that you needed to come to the depot and pick up your lumber. That's the way it worked in the old days. Depot was very important for someone living in Broomfield.
Hello, this is David Allison, the museum coordinator for the Broomfield Depot Museum. We're delighted you're going to have this chance to watch the video, do a little virtual tour of the museum. We'd love for you to visit when we open back up again, and thank you again for watching this video, for learning a little bit more about the history of Broomfield. Thanks so much, everybody.
Dave, I've got a question. So I'm confused.
Yes, sir.
Was the depot just where people came to catch the train, or was there anything else that happened here?
Well, sure. You know, this depot is kind of an interesting, it's a unique depot because the family of the gentleman who was the station agent here often lived here as well. And as a matter of fact, it's a live-in depot, which makes it a little bit unique. And as we go inside the depot, you'll be able to see the living room, the kitchen, the bedrooms where the family stayed when they were here at the depot.
So, what is this building?
Well, let me tell you, Jeff, this building, I think if I knock on the door, let's see what happens.
Hello?
Oh my goodness. Oh, better not go in there because you know what? This is an outhouse. In an outhouse, before you have running water, before you have toilets inside your house, which of course most of us do today, I think, this is where you would go. And you know what? Sometimes even in the middle of the night, you might have to do that. Or you might have a chamber pot, and we'll see those when we go inside. Yes, Jan.
How did he get the name Chef?
Oh, you know what? He's part shepherd, but mostly affection. And because he's part shepherd, that's why they gave him the name Chef, right? Makes sense. Hello! Here we are in the station agent's office. I'm so glad you've made it this far. Here we are, where the business of the railroad happens. And as you can see in the station agent's office, it's all about communication. And at various points in its history, they were using Morse code, using the telegraph over here. So you've got telegraph. That's one form of communication. And of course, for the station agent, his role was to make sure that everybody is safe, that the freight is safe, that the people are safe, and that the conductor and the engineer, the people that are working the railroads stay safe. And so communication is the best way to do that. And as you might know, the more you communicate, the better off you're going to be, right, in your life. And so that's what this place was for.
What are those things behind you?
Oh, great question. This is a message fork. And so, Jan, I'm going to need your help here.
Okay.
What the station agent would do is write a little note in here, a message saying, you know, 2 passengers at the next station or something like that, to be sure that the engineer and the conductor knew what to do as they were coming along the path. So he would hold this message fork out by the rails as the train would come by, and the conductor would pull that off of there and read the message and relay that to the people that needed to know on the train. That's exactly right.
So didn't that happen on the fly, and wasn't the string pulled out?
Exactly, yeah. So
why don't we demonstrate that?
Yes, the way that Jan pulled that out was a little delicate. But what you're doing as that fast train's going by, all right, you got your fast train. You're just pulling that thing, right? There you go. Yeah, that's right. And hopefully it was tied so that it came out really quickly and easily, and then you'd just be able to retie that string. Have a nice bundle of string ready to go at all times.
So what were the passenger trains that went through here?
Oh, great question, Michael. So we've got the Denver and interurban, and it went along what they called the kite route. And as you can see, this is the top part of the kite that flies in the sky, and here's the string going down to Denver. You can see right along here is Broomfield. So right north of Churches, which now we know as Churches Ranch, right? And College Hill, Westminster, all those little towns along the way at the time. One of the other things I love is this. You can see from this map, or this image, what those electric trains really looked like. You know, if you look at RTD, like the N line today that just opened, it looks almost exactly like this. It's really amazing. Very similar in many ways. Just some updated cars, right? But that's the Denver interurban.
Wasn't it a freight line?
Well, the Colorado and Southern was a freight line. And that also went along here, and the depot served the Colorado and Southern, which was definitely a freight line.
Dave, this is a really big safe. Did they keep money in there and did it ever get robbed?
Oh yes, absolutely. So this particular safe, as far as we know, was never robbed. So we can all breathe a sigh of relief. But you know what? There's still time because of all the valuable things we have in here. You can see how valuable it is. Oh wait, there's nothing in there. Never mind. So no, but you know this safe here, it would have been used to keep money and possibly passengers' valuables. If they needed to keep it for a short amount of time, they could have, you know, kept it here as well. But likely just for money transactions that are going on, they would use the safe here for that.
What's that thing on the wall?
Oh, that's a great question. Today, we often have our phones right in our pockets. Or maybe your parents have their phones in their pockets, a cell phone. This is a telephone. And what you're doing here with this telephone is you have your receiver that you hold up to your ear, and then your microphone, your speaker right there. And this would have been a later addition to this building. This would have been 1950s era rather than when the depot was first built in 1909. But telephone, again, communication. That's what the station agent was all about, is communicating, making sure that everybody knew what was happening here at the station. And so the telephone could be used for that, starting in the 1950s.
Hey Dave, would you like a cup of coffee?
Oh, Jan, that would be excellent. Yes, I have my mug right here. Every good station agent needs coffee to keep going. It's the fuel.
And it's hot off the stove. Well, you can see all the passengers waiting to take the next train, but what did the kids do while they were waiting?
Oh, great question. Here's a great example. Games, just like we do today. Games of all types. And marbles is a really fun one. And so here we have our marbles set up. And what we're going to do is just kind of see which ones we can knock out of the circle. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was a terrible shot. It wasn't a good shot. Thank you. Here we go. Let's see here. Hey!
Woohoo!
Just like that.
So once you knocked it out of the circle, that became your marble, right?
That's right. I get myself a nice, beautiful blue marble. Here we are.
Wow, you must be rich to put all those blue marbles in that circle.
Betcha.
What's that stuff in your hand?
Oh, great question. This is broomcorn. So here we are. Broomcorn is a crop that you'd grow. You can see it has this nice long tassel here, and it would grow in the field kind of as stalks, It looks a little bit like wheat when it's growing, maybe from afar. And broomcorn was grown in this area about the time that Broomfield was becoming a little crossroads town. And so the thought was that Broomfield was named after the broomcorn that was grown here. And as you can see, if you take these little seeds off the end of it, it makes nice kind of stiff fibers that then you can use at the end of your broom, right?
Dave, this looks like a kitchen. What was this used for?
Yes, exactly. And you know, in the 1920s, the 1930s, this particular room would have been the center of activity. A lot of work to keep your water warm for all the things you need it for, right? And again, as I mentioned, we didn't have indoor plumbing in this building until really late in its history. And so you're needing to gather the water from the well, the cistern nearby, bring it in, warm it up. You have to split all the wood to keep the stove nice and hot. Wood burning stove like this, you would need to do that. And of course, you're getting your water ready to use the washing machine, which is very much work for the children, right? You gotta wash those clothes on the washboard, gotta agitate them with the agitator here, and make sure they get all nice and clean. And you know what? Every day in the kitchen has different work. So one day would be baking day, another day is wash day, those kind of things. And then if you look over here, you can see this is your way to keep things cool. And you put your ice here in the ice box in the top, and you get your delivery maybe once every week from the Iceman, who would come and deliver that right through the window there. You could put it straight into the ice box so you wouldn't have to haul it too far, right? Very important to keep your food cold.
So did the station agent cook for the passengers?
Oh, no. So the station agent, their family life was very much separated from the business of the station. And so actually the doorways that lead into this area would have been blocked off, would have had doors. And it would have been the family's area here, and then the passengers would have been over on the other side there. And never the twain shall meet. Well, at least we don't think very often.
How late did the trains pull in?
You know, most of the time, those trains from the schedules that we have would have been wrapping up by kind of the late afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock. Those passenger trains would have been pretty much finished going back and forth.
What's that thingamajig on the table?
Oh, lovely question. If you look here, what guesses might you have for this particular item? Look how nicely it kind of closes up and then it opens up like this. Well, the answer, maybe this will help. Piece of bread, you put it on your toaster, you have to plug it in, of course, and those elements in there warm up and toast your bread very nicely, and then you just pop it right out, and you're ready to slather some butter on that toast.
So after you wash the clothes here, did you put them in the dryer?
Oh, well, you know, the dryer is done naturally. So you take it outside and you have a clothesline strung. And you'd hang them using clothespins, your clothes right on the line, let it dry outdoors. Of course, Colorado is a nice climate for that sort of thing. So hopefully you'd have dry clothes pretty quickly. And then Jan here is holding what you would do after those clothes are dry, which is use the iron to make sure that they're nice.
Where do you plug it in?
Oh my goodness, you know what? What we were talking about here with the stove, you need this stove for everything because you're needing to warm up your iron right here on the stove. This is a nice one too because you can take the handle off like this. So if you have another one that's waiting and getting warm and this one's gotten cold because you've been using it for a while, you can just attach it to the next one and you're on your way with your iron.
Dave, I'm looking around the room and I see something that looks very unusual. It looks like my record player,
Yes.
but it doesn't seem that I remember this type of, is it a 78 or a,
Yeah.
what is this?
You know, record players are a great form of entertainment, right? And this living room, you can see there are a couple different ways. One is you can create your own music here on a little pump organ like this, sing-alongs, those kind of things, a great way to spend some time. And then a record player like this. This one is a nice kind of portable one. You can see it's in a case, so you can take it from place to place fairly easily. You can store your records in this little pouch right here and carry it around. This particular model is a pretty nice little crank version, but you know, there were much bigger kind of case record players as well.
And what is this box?
Oh my goodness, you know what? This is a camera. I was calling it
No
a
way.
Brownie camera. That's exactly right. By Kodak Corporation, and you may be familiar with Kodak. They've been producing cameras for many years now. But this was a nice portable type of camera. The quality of the photos was not great, but you know what? You could take it with you easily, and that's a nice thing.
I can take pictures with this thing.
Exactly. Yes, it's a portable way to take pictures, just like they did in the past.
So Dave, was the depot always here on this spot?
That's a great question. So this particular spot here in Zangspur Park, this building was moved here in 1976. So the Colorado and Southern Railroad didn't use the depot anymore at that point. They were getting ready to take it down, and a group of concerned citizens, as a part of a group called the JCs, a Junior Chamber of Commerce, they banded together and they helped to move this building. You can see here it's on the truck. They moved it to this spot and they built the basement down below us here as well. So it's been here since 1976. It's been used as a museum kind of since then, and we're delighted that it's here in Zangspur Park, this lovely place.